Every empire claims its money is safe. Every government insists its promises will last forever. And every time, history proves them wrong. From Rome to France, from the Confederacy to modern Lebanon, people have woken up to the same morning again and again. Overnight, their savings became worthless, their salaries lost all meaning, and their futures dissolved before their eyes. Collapse is not the exception we think it is. It is the rule. So the real question is this: when the system collapses, how will you protect yourself? We look at our bank balances, we trust the currency of the country we live in, and we tell ourselves, this is solid. But money is not rock. Money is trust. And unfortunately, trust can disappear overnight. That is why history is brutal, but also an extraordinary teacher. Every collapse leaves behind traces. Who survived, who was wiped out, who saw the opportunity. All of it is recorded. And here is the strange but true reality. The survivors were not the ones who trusted the most. They were the ones who doubted first. A system that shined like gold, then rotted overnight. Byzantium had a pure gold currency called the solidus. For centuries, the world trusted it. It was essentially the reserve currency of its time, the dollar of the ancient world. And then, just like Rome before it, Byzantium couldn't resist. Cheap metals were mixed into the gold. Value was slowly diluted. At first, no one noticed. Then trust began to crack, and the once legendary currency collapsed. Who won? The merchants who did not trust state promises, but trusted real gold and real land, and stepped aside early. The first lesson is here. States never miss an opportunity to debase money. True value lies in things that cannot be copied. The Black Death, a catastrophe, and a massive economic reversal. One of the deadliest pandemics in history, the Black Death wiped out half of Europe's population. It looked like pure disaster. But something unexpected happened. With fewer people able to work, labor suddenly became valuable. Land prices collapsed. Those with liquidity, cash, goods, silver, gained access to opportunities they could never have imagined. Does this sound familiar? We saw the same thing during COVID. Supply chains broke, production fell, governments printed money. And the result? Those with liquidity bought homes, stocks, companies. Most people were left gasping for rent and bills. History whispers the same truth every time. Crises always favor those with money, assets, and liquidity. The unprepared are crushed without mercy. The collapse of the Florentine banks, the oldest too big to fail. Lie in medieval Florence, massive banking families dominated finance. Everyone believed they could never fail. Until one king, England's King Edward, refused to repay enormous debts. Banks collapsed one by one. Overnight, just like Lehman Brothers, just like Lebanon's banks in 2019. And people faced the painful truth. No institution is big enough to live forever. When an institution collapses, it crushes you first. America's Civil War, a domestic currency collapse. The North printed greenbacks, the South printed graybacks. At first, they worked. Then governments wanted more money, more money. The result? In the South, money died completely. A bag of banknotes couldn't buy a loaf of bread. Who survived? The same answer again. Those with real goods, gold, food, and land. Paper collapsed. Reality remained. The French Revolution. Money printed for the nation. Starved the people. France issued a new currency backed by church lands, the assignat, but they printed and printed. Eventually, no one wanted paper money. Even bread sellers said, "Don't bring paper, bring silver." The pattern repeats. Real value survives. Paper disappears. The 1997 Asian financial crisis. The cost of borrowing in someone else's currency. When Thailand's currency collapsed, everyone with dollar-denominated debt drowned at the same time. The crisis spread across Asia like dominoes. Who emerged stronger? Those who understood a hard truth. Borrowing in another country's currency is an invitation to disaster. The harshest modern lesson. Lebanon. In 2019, Lebanese banks shut their doors. People couldn't access their own money. Funds were frozen. The currency lost 90% of its value. People who had saved for a lifetime became poor in a single day. Who won? Those who didn't trap their money in banks. Those who moved assets abroad. Those who held gold, real estate, or cash. All of history tells us the same thing. Money collapses. Banks collapse. States devalue their own currencies. Debt becomes a noose around nations. Yet some people survive every time. Some even rise. How? By owning real assets. By protecting liquidity. By learning to read crises instead of fearing them. Every crisis is a transfer. From those who trust to those who prepare. From paper to reality. From passive observers to value creators. A baker survived because he could bake bread. A craftsman survived because he could repair. A farmer survived because he kept producing. Whenever money loses meaning, production never does. So here is the question. When collapse comes, what will you be holding? A promise they cannot keep. Or a reality that never loses its value. If this video gave you a new perspective, consider subscribing. History is full of answers.